I took him, you know, I held him. I started talking to him.
But you're still in denial.
Yeah, now I'm talking to him to resurrect.
This baby is dead, Chanel.
Yeah, but you know, that time you don't even care. You know, like something must happen. You know, something can happen.
Wake
Yeah,
up.
so I started telling him, you know, Joshelle, I love you. I so much cared for you. I did everything nice for you. I bought you nice clothes. Please wake up. Did I do anything wrong? And now Satan is telling you, you are a failure. So when they're taking me to the car, I see women. And they are
coming out with their babies.
I'm telling you, it hit me. It hit me. I cried. And I'm wondering, so why couldn't I carry my baby home? And you know, my stomach was like somewhere here. So I'm like, so now when I go home, these women are going home and people will see their babies.
What will?
So when I go home, what will I show? Then a lady, a friend of mine, writes and says, Chanel, are you pregnant? I ask why. No, she said, I saw you in a dream and you had a big tummy.
Yes.
And then I heard the Lord say, write to Chanel and tell her not to be anxious, because this baby shall be to full time. I say, you have said it again.
Amen.
God, you have said it.
You have said it.
I wrote it down.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to Tuka Talks. My name is Lynn Goge. Now, when my guest today posted her story on Facebook, many people could not believe that she had gone through so much. From doctors telling her they could not find her babies, people asking her, where is the baby you are expecting? She suffered several miscarriages, but she kept believing that one day her miracle would find her. Her story will definitely leave you inspired, but it will also teach you the importance of having faith, hope, and believing. So without further ado, please allow me to let her introduce herself. Hello.
Hi.
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 How are you?
Good.
Please introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Chanel Wanja. I am married to Tim Makamu, and together we have a daughter who is 2 years. I am a gospel minister. Yeah, and teach the word of God.
Yes.
And all that. What else? I think all that.
And you're an amazing human, you know.
Yeah.
And just before we even get started, allow me to say thank you for
you're
even
welcome.
coming.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. I was going through your story on Facebook, and
Yeah.
as I told you earlier,
Yeah.
I could not believe. I've seen people going through so much, but
Yeah.
I was just reading paragraph by paragraph by paragraph and telling God, this one, she's such a strong woman. Take us through your story.
Okay, so I got married in 2013 in a very colorful wedding.
Yes.
So me and my husband, we met in abroad where he was working. I was also working there.
Yeah.
So when you get married 2013, you know, we are not in a hurry to get babies. And then after he comes home and we decide, hey, what are we doing? So let's get our firstborn.
Yes.
And you're like, hey, excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get pregnant and I'm like, oh, so I started the journey and it was exciting, you know, no cause of alarm. At 8 weeks, I had some spotting. And then I called my sister and I said, I had some spotting. She said, you need to go to the hospital. So she came, I went to the hospital and the doctor said, oh, it's nothing much. The baby is fine. The heartbeat is okay and all that.
Yeah.
So just take some rest and then you'll be fine. So I did exactly that. So from 8 weeks, we went until 32. There was nothing alarming. So then I go to the hospital. I was 32 weeks pregnant. And then when I go to the hospital, the doctor is like, hi, Wanja, is everything fine? I'm like, yeah. They take the pressure is fine, the kgs, and the doctor says, hey, you're adding the kgs well, you're doing so well. Okay, so lie down here, we check the baby's heartbeat.
Yeah.
So there is that thing they place on your tummy. I don't know if it's called a Doppler or what. So they place, and then the doctor gives me this look like, Wanja, have you had the baby kick? I said, sijasikia leo asubuhi,
But
hata jana jioni, but asubuhi alikuwa, the other morning the baby was fine, nilikuwa nimesikia the heartbeat. So the baby is the doctor is looking at me like worried. I'm like, ni nini, si mtoto analalanga alafu anaamka na kick. You know, I was used to that. This kick, he kicks, then, you know. Then he says, we need a scan. We need to do a good scan, and then we check. So he sends me to the scan, and they do this scan on me, and then, you know, wanafanya scan, wanakuangalia, they're not saying anything. I asked them, ni nini? And then, you know, when they're doing the scan, there's this the baby heartbeat. Then they're telling me, you know, we are trying to find the baby's heartbeat and all that. So then I'm like, Kwani, you can't find it because I can't hear. Then I say, Ati, let's take you back to the doctor, and then we come, then the doctor will tell you. So me, I'm like, hiya, Kwani, what's happening here, you know? And then the doctor is telling me, sit down, and you know, his countenance is changing, and he's telling me, Wanja nani alikuleta? And then I'm like, I came alone. He say, no, I'm sorry, but I need to tell you this. It's like your baby died in the womb. We can't find the heartbeat, even the faintest heartbeat, and so we need to take you quickly to the labor ward and see how we can remove the baby. Yani unaona ile yenye uko like,
Kai,
where
what are
like,
you telling me?
What have you just said, you know? So he says, I need to call your husband. So he calls my husband and says, oh, hi, Mr. Tim, we are sorry. Your wife and you just lost a baby in the womb. So my husband says, thank you so much, doctor, for your views. But you know what? We're going to believe God's reports. So he tells the doctor to give me their phone, and my husband encourages me. So I tell the doctor, you know what? I'm going home. He says, no, we can't release you. What if something happens?
So the doctor is telling you your baby has died inside your womb.
Yes.
They need to remove it before there are further complications. So you say, we serve a living God.
Of course.
You and your husband,
of
you
course.
have faith.
Yeah.
Our baby is not dead. What happened next?
You know, now you have been brought in church. You know, there is nothing impossible with God. Everything is possible.
Yeah.
So me, I signed the form. Why are you telling me the baby is dead? And I've been having my baby kicking. Sure. I sign. Then I go.
So you went to a different hospital?
No, yeah, I went to a different, first I went home, and then my husband called someone, and then we went to another hospital to hear the views.
Yes.
So I'm taken to this hospital, and they are looking at the records, and they're telling me they will need to do other ultrasound and test. Watawaangalie. So they come and they call me to another room, and they say, Wanja, we are very sorry, but the baby has no life, and the only thing we can do is to help you to remove the baby. Otherwise, the baby might damage your uterus. So me, I'm like, what are you saying, you know? So I call my husband, and then we have to make this decision quickly. So I am taken to the labor, and they put the first labor on me.
They induced labor on you.
Yeah, they induced labor.
Yeah.
So after some time I go, I get this labor, and then I get the baby, and the baby is there. So I took him, and the doctor asked me, would you like to have him? So I said yes. So I took him. He so much looked like his father, and he was so handsome. So I looked at him. There's nothing, you know, the first thing the doctor, when he came out, they had to check, did he have a cord around the neck? Had he turned pale? Because they said there is something, if it happens, then your baby like turns pale or something. Then I was like, okay, there is nothing. The doctors are telling me, no, there is nothing. So I took him. They wrapped him for me. I had carried some baby clothes. I took him. You know, I held him. I started talking to him.
But you're still in denial.
Yeah, I'm still. Now I'm talking to him to resurrect.
this baby is dead, Chanel.
Yeah, but you that time you don't even care. Like something must happen. Something can happen.
Wake
So I started telling him, Joshelle, I love you. I so much cared for you. I did everything nice for you. I bought you nice clothes. Please wake up. Did I do anything wrong? And now Satan is telling you are a failure. You did something wrong. That's why your baby died. I said, please, Joshelle, wake up. I will love you. I will take you to church. And he just lay there. Like, the way the baby is sleeping. So I used to touch him. I'm like, Joshelle, what happened? Wake up, wake up, wake up. The doctors took the kgs. Oh, the baby was 2.5 kg. He was such a big baby. We don't know what happened. So I was taken to this ward. And then you're seeing women breastfeeding their baby. And then I was like, I'm just going to be here for a short time. So they told me the following morning that they have discharged me and I needed to go home. So I was like, okay, fine. So my sisters, they came in the morning. Now I delivered at night. So they came in the morning and, they are bringing me food. We are not even talking about that because no one wants to mention that story.
Yes.
Yeah, we are trying to avoid it. My parents, they came to see me. And then now they take me to the car and we go home. So when they're taking me to the car, I see women and they are
coming out with their babies.
I'm telling you, it hit me. It hit me. I cried and I'm wondering, so why couldn't I carry my baby home? And my stomach was like somewhere here. So I'm like, so now when I go home, these women are going home and people will see their babies. So when I go home, what will I show? Every pain should birth something. You shouldn't allow pain to be wasted. Chidi just says that, no pain will be wasted, God doesn't waste pain. Yes. He will use it. So, but the pain I've gone through, I'm wondering, I have nothing.
Zero.
Zero. Like I'm going home, you're in pain, you have just given birth, you're in pain, but you have nothing. Then we get to the house and they had cooked, they had been in the house just preparing, just cooking. They hid all the baby clothes.
Because I want to ask you, I think the best part about bringing a baby home is all the preparation you had made before, If it's a boy, you want some blueness, some pink, if it's a girl.
Yes.
And then you get into your house and then you are like, I did not bring any baby home. Yeah. What will I do with all these items I bought before?
So they had taken all of them. Yeah. And then there's a huge bag. They stuck them there and they hid it in another room that we weren't using because now I was alone in the house. Yeah. Then my husband, now he was abroad that time, so he was coming.
Yes.
So I think like maybe an hour or two, he got home. So he came and when I had the car downstairs, they are parking. Someone had gone to take him from the airport. So I was almost going to hide in the bedroom because I was like, I have questions to answer, like what happened to the baby. So he comes and then he says hi to my friends, and then he comes and gives me a big hug and says, baby, you're a great woman and God will give you children. And then he had a huge box with chocolates, sweets, perfumes, lotion. And then I'm like,
what were you expecting?
Me, I thought, the way you feel you're failed, it's like you take a report card to your parents and ukom kia.
Ukona E-. And
then they're telling you you're a great child. Like, bakuna kwa shock. So I was like, I expected maybe when he comes, he will bombard me. Of course, I knew he loved God and he's a man who fears God, but I felt I was a failure.
Wow.
So I looked at him and I was like, I cried, and then he also broke down. And he told me, don't be worried. Our God is a good God. He never did anything wrong. That was the enemy. So I'm looking at him like,
what's going through your mind?
I I'm like, I didn't expect this. And then I remembered the women I saw a letter of flowers.
Yeah.
So I felt so appreciated. I felt someone was there to support me. And then we just went to the bedroom and he held my hand and he prayed. He said, God, I thank you because of the strength you have given us to overcome. And thank you because you're going to bless my wife with children.
God.
So after that, we wanted to conceive again. So we went to the hospital and we conceived again, and I started my clinics, and my husband at that time had gone back to work. So I started my clinic and everything is fine. Then at 6 weeks, I go, I think it was to the washroom, and I see this spotting again. And I was like, oh my God, what's happened? And those memories, they come back. So immediately I go to the hospital. And I go to the hospital and they say, sorry,
You've lost the baby.
you just lost the baby. You just had a miscarriage. So me, I'm looking and I'm wondering, okay, so what is it? So I call my husband and my husband says, you know what? It is well.
Round two.
Yeah, it is well. That is now round 2. He's
Yes.
saying it is well. So I go home. Then now he comes back. So when he comes back, the doctor advises we need to go get tested, rhesus factor, I don't know what, to know what is causing this. They did so many tests and they were very expensive. Then they come back and they tell you, we can't see anything.
You are okay.
You're okay. You're perfectly okay. So the doctor advised you can conceive again after some time. So, hey, Nani Sisi, he said we can try again. We did it. We want the babies.
Yes.
We want the babies. So
Yeah.
I conceive again. Then at 10 weeks, the doctor says, now they are telling you, take this medicine, do this, come to the clinic this time. And you're doing all this because you really want the baby.
Yes.
So I go and the doctor says, Wanja, I'm sorry. Like the baby is not growing. The way we check is still the same. The heartbeat is not developing. Me now, I started getting confused. God said he will do this. God said he will restore. What's happening here?
What is he restoring?
Yeah, how is he restoring? And I've just lost this one.
So this is the third one.
Yeah, now this is the third one. Okay. And then I'm like, okay, fine. So now we thought we need another gyna. So we searched some of the best gynecologists, in Kenya, and we get one. And we go and we give him all these files and all these reports. He says, don't worry, you don't have a problem with conceiving. The problem is sustaining the baby. So let's see what we can do. So I conceive again. And they have put me on medicine, on what and whatever. They want, everybody wants the success of this thing.
Yes.
So again, I think that time I was like 10 weeks or something. I think I was just walking and I had, wait a minute. And I'm like, okay, so what's happening here? I called my husband and we rush again to the hospital. And they say the baby has come out. But something is still remaining. So they need to go and wash me. I don't know, it's called evacuation or something. So they take me again. Hey, so me, I started getting devastated. I started thinking, after my husband and support, me, I think now this thing is not working. I hadn't developed my faith to the level whereby I can handle all these things now coming my way.
Yeah.
But I thank God for my husband. He was there for me, praying for me, encouraging me.
And he kept speaking blessings unto
and
you.
buying me books. I love reading, so he was buying me books, continued encouraging me, telling me, I didn't marry you for kids, but I do believe that we will get our own kids.
Yes.
So now after that, we think we need another doctor because now, seriously, we need to find out what is wrong. I went to this doctor and I tell him, and he says again, let's give ourselves time. And they put me on drugs. Oh, we put you on these and these and these. Now this is the 4th time. And again, at 10 weeks, there is no heartbeat. So they told me they couldn't just remove. They had to be sure. So they told me I had to stay with it 2 more weeks. Like for them, so that by the time they're removing,
they know
it's not working.
It's not working. So in
so
2 weeks.
2 weeks. We prayed. We prayed. We told God, the God of impossibility, what is it that you cannot do? We are believing you. You will do it,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And then we went to the hospital. And they say, sorry. And it was one of these best hospitals we have in Kenya. And they say, sorry, the baby is still not growing. So we have to remove the baby again. So when we went home, I think now this time I was done. So me nikaona, I need to help this guy. We need to have babies. Let's adopt.
Okay.
So I called him, I tell him, sweetie, you know what?
Let's adopt.
Let's adopt children. My husband say, baby, it's a good thing to adopt children. It's a good thing and we can do it. But can I assure you something? God is going to give you your own children. I'm like, I know. You don't even expect that. You know me, I'm like, even him is done.
Yeah.
But I think God, he had read the word and equipped himself so much that he knew this God can't fail. So he was telling me, it was our desire to have children.
We'll have a child.
We will have. And he was keeping reminding me, Akionokana Mshuku. And even if you don't have, I still love you. You're still a great woman. You know, and then I'm like, okay. So one time my bishop, he's called Bishop Imende, gives me a book. He knows I love reading.
Yes.
And it's written Mountain Moving Faith. And I said, I want this thing, Mountain Moving Faith. And he was just giving me this book to read.
Yes.
So I read it. And so I got somewhere, it says Mark 11, 22, 23, 24, 25. And it started, have faith in God. Whatsoever things you desire, when you pray, believe you receive them and you shall have them. I say, why have I been struggling? It was like, a Rema one, a liberation that I never had. Of course, I had read the Bible many times.
But this one spoke to you.
This one was like, I started saying there is nothing impossible with God.
Yeah.
I took a pen. In that book he had written, have faith in God.
Yes.
Number two, he wrote that you need to be specific on what you want. Be very specific. He said God answers specific needs. I said, wow. And then number 3, he said you need to keep confessing what the word of God says despite what is around. I said, okay. Number 1, have faith in God. I wrote, God, I am having faith in you. I am trusting you, you will give me children. I want them to be handsome. I want them to be beautiful. I want them to be in good health. I want to have money for clinic. Now my husband had relocated to the country. I was still in school and all that. We are paying school fees and all that. So I'm writing, I want to have these children. I want them to have the best medical attention.
Yes.
And then I was like, no, he didn't finish there. He said, you pray.
Yes.
I stood up. It was like 6 in the morning. My husband had left. I started walking in the house. I'm alone. I declare, in this house, there will be many children. I saw that was not enough. I said, this house has children. Come have your breakfast. Come make your beds. Come quickly. It was like, and then I'm like, yeah, what's happening with me?
Yes.
I went to the sitting room. I am sitting there. I am coming, telling them, who is making noise? Mommy is listening to you. Who is making that? You need now to sleep. It's time to sleep. You know the way mothers behave?
Yes, you started.
I started doing that and all that. And then I'm like, I was so reverbed. So I wrote down the month I wanted to conceive and everything. Then I forget about it. So one time I'm walking and I'm like, Guy, I'm feeling so dizzy.
Yeah.
What's up? And then I'm like, I had the voice of the Holy Spirit. You said you wanted to be pregnant this month. I went, I bought the pregnancy kits, 2 of them to be sure. I tested positive. I called my husband. I said, baby, we are pregnant. He said, who told you? I told him, I just did a pregnancy test, it's positive. Then I'm like, doctor, he told me not to try again. I can't go back. So there's another lady, she had conceived at, I think, 40 or 40s. I am not very sure.
Yeah.
So one time she had called me and told me she has this nice guy now. So I remember that lady, I said,
Yeah.
I need to go to this other person.
Yes.
So she gave me
Yeah.
the number of that guy now. I called and then we were given appointment. We went. When we went, we had the heartbeat.
Hey.
I'm telling you, I cried. I cried like, what is it?
Like, yes.
Like, that's a heartbeat. You know, now before even some of them have not been developing heartbeats.
This one has a heartbeat.
This one has a heartbeat. The doctor started me on Madawa Tena. You know, I was taking, I don't know, do first stone, I don't know, whatever medicine they tell you, Aki, you take. And then now we get to somewhere like 28, 30 weeks.
Yeah.
They told me we need an injection to develop the lungs of the baby. So that in case of anything, like when there's a tutoamtoi, and the baby will still be fine because the lungs will be developed. Then a lady, a friend of mine, writes and says, Chanel, are you pregnant? I asked why. No, she said, I saw you in a dream and you had a big tummy.
Yes.
And then I heard the Lord say, write to Chanel and tell her not to be anxious because this baby shall be to full time. I say, you have said it again.
Amen.
God, you have said it.
You have said it.
I wrote it down.
Yeah.
What that lady told me.
Yes.
So I continued to say, God, you said I will carry to full time. I am not going to get any thought of the enemy. God, I know. So every time the doctors will tell me, you need to come next week, we check. They go, they check, they say, hey, the baby is doing fine. We won't remove her.
Amen.
You know?
Yes.
And then I go the another week, they say, the baby is doing fine.
Yeah.
We won't remove her. And you know, they never knew me. I was holding to a word. You know, the word of God carries power, you know? And then they wrote to me now, the clinic, they say, okay, now come to this date. Now, this time we are like 39. So they tell me, come next week. Do you know when I went to the doctor, say, one day you're not going home. I say, why? Say, you're almost going to 3 centimeters.
Yes.
Dilated, so we can't release you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you know, that time I was already carrying my... The baby clothes were already in the car. I said, the baby clothes are in the car. I said, my husband, go come with them.
We are ready.
We are ready to bring this blessing.
See how God works? He makes you drive with your baby's clothes inside the car because the day can come anytime. Yes, I love that.
I was just prepared. That's what they said today. I'm there.
Yes.
So they go and, you know, I stay in the hospital and 4 a.m. the next morning, I delivered this beautiful looking girl. And I went back to the book I wrote on prayer. And I'm like, wow, there is a God who restores. There's a God who wipes tears. And, you know, I couldn't help, you know, cry and just see the goodness of the Lord and what the Lord has done.
You felt like everything that had been taken away from you had been given back to you.
And what is very sweet about her testimony is that May, the end of May, I had walked out of the hospital empty-handed. 30th May, just before the month of grace ended, God made sure I walked out of hospital 31st May with a beautiful baby girl. What is it that you cannot...
May.
Yes, I walked out of, you know, just before the month of grace ended.
Yes.
You know?
God.
And we called her Teresa, the abounding grace of God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, your faith is something else, you know. And I know someone is watching you, but they do not have this amount of faith. Because let me tell you something, Sheila. Hey, you've lived it, you've seen it. Someone is living it right now. You know, they are conceiving, but then they keep losing their babies. Their husbands are calling them useless. You cannot keep a baby. They have relatives, you know, who are using this against them. Because I know so many people have reached out to you. What are you telling them?
You know, let me tell you. First, you said about faith. Everyone, the Bible says, has a measure of faith. What you know, what you do, you grow your faith by reading scriptures, by reading the word, by reading books that will encourage you, build your faith, by listening to testimonies, those will build you. And also, you know, when you spend time with with the person, you know them. Like now I spend time with you. If tomorrow we have a coffee date, the more I spend time with you, the more I know you.
Yes.
So the more time I spend with God, the more I realize, oh, it's a loving God.
The more you get to know him.
The more I got to know him, the more I got to know whatever he did, he can do it for me. Let me tell you, the society has idolized motherhood. It doesn't have to be like that. If someone is not getting a baby, please stop asking them. You know, so many people have written to me, my husband is telling me, the best thing you can do is support your wife. If my husband team was not there to support me, I don't know what I could have done, you know.
And you said your baby is so pretty, and I know that's not the first one. I know you are praying for more, and God will give you more, and God will give you more. I know, but you also had your share of negative talks. There are people who obviously said things about you. What did they say, and how did you deal with that?
Okay, first of all, we had a good support system from our family, but you know, you would meet people who would ask you sometimes, hey, Chanel, and some of them, they don't know the battles that you're fighting. Some of them, they don't know what you have gone through. And you know, when you're going through things, you don't put it there, oh guys, I just had a miscarriage. No. So you're going through it
by yourself.
By yourself. There's someone who called my sister and say, I think your sister needs to be taken for somewhere to be prayed for. Maybe there's something wrong that is happening. Because people think when you're struggling in one area, like maybe you have wronged God or something. That's not the case. People are fighting battles, Lynn.
We have no idea about.
Yes, people are going through so much. The best thing you can do is being kind to them.
Be kind. I keep seeing that everywhere. Everyone is fighting a battle. You have no idea about. Be kind.
Yeah, people are going through so much. Women are going through so much. So the next time you meet that woman and you ask her, when are you having a baby? You don't know, maybe last week she was in the hospital having a miscarriage.
Or she's even miscarriaging that.
Yes, and then you're asking her, and you know, you're bringing the pain back. Right now, I have so many people writing to me and telling me, Chanel, how can I do this? How do I walk, you know, out of this? I am in so much pain. And I tell them, you know what? Don't waste your pain. Don't let pain crumble you. Decide to come out better and not bitter.
Good.
Because you know, pain has a way of crippling you.
Yes.
But you have to decide for yourself. I am going to come out better and not bitter. If I committed suicide because of what I was going through, right now the daughter I have would not be there. You know? So you need to hold on. Keep fighting.
Keep fighting.
You know,
don't tap out.
No.
Yes, Chanel.
It's not over, man.
It's not. It's not over.
It's not over until God says over. So. And God will not say over until you win. You see
it's not over until God says it's over, and God will not say it's over until you win. I love that. I love that, Chanel. I want you to look into this camera as we conclude.
Okay.
Talk to that woman. Talk to that man, you know. Talk to anyone fighting battles we have no idea about. Bless them, you know.
So I just want to encourage someone who is going through pain and you're feeling isolated and you're wondering, does God really care? Let me tell you, there is a God in heaven. And when he comes big time. He will come in for you no matter how long you've waited. We have seen people like Abraham in the Bible who waited for more than 25 years and still had their baby. Please, your baby is coming. May it be a job. Maybe that job is your baby. May it be the physical baby. It is coming. Don't give up on God. He hasn't given up on you. Don't feel like isolated. The Bible says no temptation has overcome men except that which is common to men, and God will not let you to be tempted beyond what you can bear. Whether you're struggling with something right now, whether you're going through a hard situation, some parents, they have disabled children, some people are not able to conceive, and you're wondering whether it is possible. Let me tell you, it is very, very possible. Be encouraged. It is not over. God will make sure that you win. You have the DNA of Christ in you, and God is on your side. God is backing you up. You're not alone. God is with you, is backing you up, and nothing you have gone through shall be wasted.
Amen. Nothing you have gone through shall be wasted.
Yeah.
Chanel,
Yes.
thank you so much for gracing us today and just for coming, you know, on the show and encouraging someone.
Yes.
I always say, even if this interview was to touch one person,
Yes.
then we have done our job here. Even if this message is just to touch one person, change one person's life, I think we are done here. Guys,
amazing.
We have come to the end of this episode of Tuko Talks, and just to repeat what Chanel said, it's not over until God says it's over. And he will not say it's over until you win. Yay! Until you win, you know. And to leave you with this quote I keep seeing on social media, in a world where you can be anything, be kind, because everyone is fighting a battle we have no idea about. Let me know what you think of today's topic. Remember, you can always share your story using the email address hapo kwa comment section, and I believe you have been blessed because I have. Chanel, thank you so much for coming. My name is Lynn Gogi. Till next time, bye-bye.